It's episode 1304, and it's a relevant podcast. It's an unusual show today. The guys and I missed last week, as you all know, because we were all in Montana. This week, Emily is doing her version of that with her friends, so she's out. So we don't have relevant buzz today. We have slices. We have all of our Montana stories. We have some surprises for you, and we have a huge guest. Philip Anthony Mitchell is joining us. You do not want to miss that conversation. That's coming up. Well, I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, it's Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
And from Nashville, it's artist, producer, mogul, Derek Miner.
What up, though?
Marty can't join us because he so enjoyed our rest and relaxation in Montana. And what a good guy he is. He said, I'm going to do the same for my wife. So he got back, got her a hotel. I'll watch the kid. So he's on single dad duty right now. And unless we wanted to have a little toddler on the show with us, Marty couldn't join us. So anyway, so it's just the three of us today.
Husband of the year.
Yeah.
I mean,
by the way, I'm not opposed to a little toddler on it. It would probably actually bring up the maturity level of the show. At times.
We told him that in the group chat. We were like, dude, just have him on.
I was like, bring nephew on. Bring him on.
Well, anyway, so it's the three of us. Just saw you guys a few days ago in Montana.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Unusual trip this year. This wasn't our normal rhythm. For those who don't know, I've been going for over a decade. Jesse's been going for close to that. Our friend Prop has been going. Derek started coming 6-7 years ago. Marty's been coming the last few years. What it is there's an organization called Refuge, Christian organization that just tries to serve leaders and keep them in the game, really. And it's about rest and connection and having fun. That's it. And we go every year for 5 days. There's a lot of fly fishing. Some people like shooting stuff. Weather wasn't great this year, so we did a little fishing, but we mainly stayed in the house because it was raining, and it was great. It was one of my favorite trips.
It's actually my favorite year, I think.
For real?
You know, yeah. I mean, it was. I feel like it was the most fun, and I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts. But we ended up. Our good friend Brian Carpenter, who runs it, was kind of made the analogy that it's like a grown-up sleepover. And we just leaned into that and pulled a TV into like the main room. And
which he wasn't happy about because there's no TVs. Like it's a unplug, don't you know what I mean? And so like we found a fairly small TV in a closet.
Yeah.
They weren't sure if it worked or not.
That's where y'all got the TV from? I didn't know that.
It was in the closet where they kept all the pantry stuff. You know what I mean? And there's a TV on the floor. Hey, does that work? Can we watch the NBA Western Conference Finals? That kind of thing. And then we're like, oh, we got a TV. Let's go.
And but instead of just watching sports or whatever's on Netflix, we decided to give Cameron a baptism by fire.
That is true.
And that in the form of 90s action movies.
80s and 90s. There was a few 80s in there.
80s, and I feel like spiritually they're all 90s. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like some of them set the stage, even though they're technically released
72.
Yeah. We watched Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, Enter the Dragon.
Bloodsport.
You got me to watch Bloodsport. You got me to watch, what was that? Predator.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Over the Top.
And Over the Top with the arm wrestling movie, which lived up. A few episodes ago, Jesse was telling me and Emily about this 1980s Sylvester Stallone movie where he's a long haul trucker who somehow ends up having to win a national arm wrestling championship to win back the custody of his son.
Yeah,
and I was like, that is not true. That is not true. That is not a real movie. He played a clip on the show. It is a real movie. And I have seen the entire thing, and I can tell you, it's as insane as Jesse.
Derek, had you seen Over the Top before?
No, I hadn't, and I would have been okay if I didn't see it at the thing. Like it was kind of
literally.
I'm kind of okay with it. Like I'm okay with not seeing this.
The last 45 minutes of the movie had no dialogue. It was the last 45 minutes of the movie was a nonstop montage of the championship arm wrestling event.
It was just big sweaty men arm wrestling, and it had no and big sweaty women as well. They were definitely
equal opportunity
because there was there was the women's version, and I was like, oh, are the women arm wrestling the men? It was just the montage was so ridiculous that it was just man slams one person's arm, woman slams another, and they all started running together. So I didn't know if the women was arm wrestling the men or what. And then there's this kid that snuck he got on a plane and snuck in the baggage of the I don't know, he snuck inside somebody's baggage and then he stole a car and I'm like, bro, this kid is bad.
He's like 11.
He's a criminal.
He needs a spanking.
He sneaks into the event, and then obviously at the final showdown where Sylvester Stallone is arm wrestling a man who is 400 pounds stronger and larger than him, because he's actually not a large guy, right?
No.
Yeah.
It is. So it's insane. His son shows up on the front row. So not only did he stow away on a plane cross country, come out through the baggage claim, steal a car, and get to the convention center, broke into the convention center, like the whole thing. He's there on the front row. Come on, Dad. Come
and
on,
I believe there's, and I also it's so much cap because there's no way Sylvester Stallone is 5'3" and was gonna beat this big old dude. At some level, there's no technique. There's just
that's where you're wrong. That's where you're wrong. There's a technique.
No way
and
you're going to convince me
the technique
that
is
there's
called
a
over the
level
top.
of technique that's gonna have 5'3" Sylvester Stallone beat a 6'7" guy that weighs 500 pounds.
Derek,
You just not gonna believe. I don't believe it.
The technique is the name of the film. Okay, and we learned that via multiple slow motion shots. And the technique is you somehow roll your fingers and turn your wrist to go over the top of the other person's hand. And this is we learned this multiple times.
Arm was the size of the guy's wrist. I mean, like it was just so unlikely.
My favorite part though is when you say there's no dialogue, there's literally no dialogue. Like
nothing.
The last 45 minutes of the film is an extended and I think they should actually bring this back because I find it very entertaining. It is a montage, right? That just one song bleeds into the next for 45 minutes straight, where you just have to sort of intuit what's happening. And granted, it's not a complicated plot. It's basically the kid getting to Vegas and then this like multiple day arm wrestling tournament. But if you could watch a regular movie, right? I feel like this is actually ahead of its time because everyone's trying to figure out how to compete in the world where people are like on their phones while they're watching their movies, you know, like, can they really pay attention to what characters are saying? And like, do we have to have like multiple scenes of dialogue with exposition, like re-explaining the plot, you know, because people are probably checked out while they're watching it on Netflix? This hacked it long before. Keep the plot super simple, have a lot of slow-mo shots that just re-explain everything, and just forget dialogue entirely. It worked perfectly.
The dialogue was replaced by original songs, epic 80s, you know, hit rock songs, pop rock songs that told you what was happening. I'm fighting for my kid and I will overcome. I'm going over the top.
Now,
I miss that in music. I miss that the soundtracks of movies were right on the nose.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Bloodsport is like Kumite, Kumite, Kumite. Like that music is in the background of the Kumite. There's some 80s tropes that I'm not mad at coming back. I'm not mad at soundtracks that are very specific.
I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked this up. I haven't looked this up since we got back, but I'm pretty certain it was Frank Stallone, Sylvester Stallone's brother, who wrote those songs.
No, you're kidding.
Sylvester Stallone used to hire Frank Stallone to score his films.
You put
not
me
the
on
good
right
ones,
now.
not Rocky, not the memorable ones like Eye of the Tiger.
The B-level ones.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Okay, so what was funny is it was like the first night we're all at around the table. We all eat this large table. We're sharing. We're catching up, and we were talking about movies. And maybe it was the second night, and we had fished out the TV because the basketball, and the TV was there in the room. And so after we're all sitting around the table, and we ended up putting on Over the Top. Everybody stayed, and then the next morning, we're all, the weather had turned and it was kind of a drizzly morning. And we're all eating
Yeah.
breakfast and stuff. And this is mid-morning. Somebody just goes, "Y'all want to watch a movie?" And so, so we just continued from the night before, and we all gathered around in the living room, and we're all in our pajamas and sweatpants and whatever. And I look around the room, and we brought the TV in there, and we're all chilling, and we end up watching Predator first, which is like 9:30 in the morning. We're watching Predator, and I look around the room, and there's musicians and rock stars and CEOs and pastors and whatever, and like all these ages and stuff. And there was like 30 of us crammed into this one little room watching this little TV, watching Predator on a morning. It really did feel like watching Saturday morning cartoons.
And we were all 15 years old again.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was so fun. And then we're like, well, let's watch Enter the Dragon, which I'd never seen. And so half the trip was people who didn't have strict parents showing me the things that they experienced as children, and then I get to experience them as a
realize how
adult.
empty your childhood was. By the way, the soundtrack for Over the Top contains music. Listen to this murderer's row of just 80s hit makers. Frank Stallone, Kenny Loggins, Eddie Money, and Sammy Hagar all wrote songs for that film. Okay, what a time! What a time to be making music. You get the Stallone call. Hey man, I'm making an arm wrestling movie. Let me stop you there. I'm in. Okay. Yeah, I'm writing a banger for it. Yeah, Cameron, I am interested because you got to see, like, on the spectrum of those films, like the ones that are iconic, I would say, like Enter the Dragon, ones
Predator.
that are that really became sort of like templates for future action franchises. I would say Predator, right? Like that those movies, they're still making Predator movies based on how good that first one was, like legitimately a good movie. And then you got to see Bloodsport and Over the Top, which was just like, what are we thinking here? Like amateur hour, but so bad they're good. Did it inspire you to want to watch more films from this era?
If I can get in a room with 30 of my friends, 15, I'll take 10 of my friends. Sure. By myself or with my kid, nah, I'm good. It was watching them with y'all and us cheering and us chanting and us singing along, and that was what made it so fun. I don't think if I just put it on one night by myself, I would enjoy them nearly as much. I will tell you this: the '80s movies that I watched were like Police Academy.
Yeah.
And like,
which was amazing as well. We could,
it was all
that.
It was all the PG and PG-13 comedies that I was watching in the 90s and 80s. Not these ones, because these were all like R and stuff. I couldn't watch this. And anyway, but I'll tell you, like, a lot of the movies, including Over the Top, look like 80s movies, right? There's a look to them.
Yeah.
I was shocked. Predator,
they held up.
Cinematography, acting, the pace of it, the editing, all of it held up.
Yeah, Predator is a timeless movie.
It was a legitimately great movie. Yeah,
it is awesome. But there also was moments, to be fair, like there was a moment in the beginning of the film, because it starts as a hostage rescue film. For people who don't know the plot of Predator,
starts as an army film that turns into something totally else. And I was aware of it midstream. I was like, I even said to the room, remember when this was an army film? Like it turned into a totally different movie.
So it starts with Carl Weathers, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jesse Ventura leading a team of commandos on a hostage rescue. There was a moment during the hostage rescue, which, by the way, the most insane hostage rescue operation ever, because immediately they totally disregard the safety of the hostages. They basically come in and just blow up the entire like it starts with Arnold Schwarzenegger improvising a bomb, just indiscriminately just blowing things up, right? In awesome ways, right? But total disregard for the safety of the hostages. But anyway, at one point he throws a combat knife at one of the enemy commandos, which goes to the guy's head and like impales him, and he's like, stuck to the wall. And Schwarzenegger goes, "Why don't you stick around?" Everyone, stick around. And everyone in the room.
The one-liners was crazy. The one-liners was crazy, bro.
Everyone in the room cheered. Everyone. There wasn't. Some people gasp. Some people literally gasp. They're
like
witnessing
running around the room. It was great.
Stick around.
It was great. Anyway, also the other memorable thing that happened while we were there, and for me, was the day we arrived. we're waiting at baggage claim for Derek for a solid 45 minutes. And I texted him, I was like, have you landed? And he's like, yeah, I'm at the coffee shop. Like, he didn't leave the secure area to come out. He was at the coffee shop, and we're all waiting for him. We're like, that's weird. He broke Christian hip hop while he was on the plane. And when he landed, he had to make some calls.
Let's do it.
He had to make some calls.
Shut up.
And then when
Let's
we were
do it
there,
right now.
we were there. I woke up to the sound on the other side of the wall of Derek on the phone, putting out all the fires that he started. Derek, please tell our listeners what you did and what happened afterwards.
Listen, nothing. I didn't break anything. This is really what happened. So on our podcast, you can't say that in church, which is very Christian hip hop. Like, it's for Christian hip hop. I put a lot of effort into making sure that our topics are covered. So I was talking about how often, and you guys experience this. I know you may not be big Christian hip hop fans, but you know there's the Christian music. If you, I'm talking to the audience, not you guys.
Okay.
I know some of our audience is like, I don't necessarily listen to Christian hip hop, but you did grow up listening to Christian music. And you know that if they had the section that's like, if you like this artist, you'll love that artist. If you like this artist, you'll love that artist. So pretty much I was tackling the idea of how sometimes you can embarrass the Christian hip hop fan, because sometimes artists in Christian hip hop, I've seen them actually just remake a guy's song and pretend that it's theirs. So, you know, imagine taking 50 cents. You can find me in a club and be like, you can find me in a church. And it's like it's an instant remake of the beat, same flow pattern and everything. And I was like, you make the Christian, you embarrass. We had a Christian hip hop fan out here looking crazy because they're trying to like stay away from secular music and all this different stuff. And then they find something they like that's really good. And then they take it and show it to their friends. And their friends are like, oh, that's a remake of a song that's out. So then now they're embarrassed and feel like, dang, man, is all of my music just knockoff Temu versions of mainstream music? And I was like, in order for Christian music as a whole, or Christian hip hop specifically, to grow, we have to begin to make stuff that's original, stuff that people come to us for and say, you can only get that from Derek Minor. You can only get that from, you know, Andy Mineo or NF, like, or Lecrae. Like, you can only get that from these guys. So an artist took exception to that, and he pretty much said, I guess he thought I was calling him out, which I wasn't. He wasn't anywhere on my mind, but thought I was calling him up. It's a big misunderstanding, but everybody had to throw it. Me and him were having barbershop conversation publicly, and then everyone else had to throw their piece into it, and it turned into quite the hoorah.
Well, I mean, it's all public. So, I mean, the artist who took exception was Caleb Gordon, who's kind of one of the biggest artists in this kind of new generation of Christian hip hop. Derek referenced that the new generation of Christian hip hop needs to get more original. Caleb spliced onto the video and gave his 2 cents. Ironically, I talked to Derek, and he's like, I wasn't even thinking about Caleb Gordon. Like he wasn't even referencing it. There was somebody he had in mind, but it wasn't Caleb Gordon. Anyway, and Caleb responded in a way that a lot of people had thoughts about, and Caleb's comments blew up, and all these other Christian artists started responding to Caleb. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's almost like Derek, like, kind of just on his podcast, lobbed this honest thought that he had, and he dropped this bomb, and then he went to Montana, and Christian hip hop was in shatters. He was just in shatters for about 4 days. It was crazy. But then, like, I mean, to Derek's credit, behind the scenes, he and Caleb got on the phone. Derek and a number of the other artists that joined in on that conversation, Derek got on the phone. Man, I was so proud of you, the way you handled that behind the scenes, and just were so constructive and affirming. People need to know this. You saw the public stuff if you followed it. Derek behind the scenes was bringing people together. He was like, I didn't realize there was such a chasm in Christian hip hop between essentially the generations. You know, the kind of the ones coming up right now, and then the ones who kind of paved the way over the last 5, 10, 15 years. I didn't realize there's such a chasm. The young guys really have some feelings about the more established guys, and the established guys are just going like, what are y'all doing to what we've been building? Anyway, Derek's little comment just kind of blew everything up, and all of this stuff came to light. It was wild to watch.
Well, and one of the things I appreciate about Derek too is not only his ability to his insights and thoughtfulness, right? Like literally become like a cultural moment. Also totally unbothered. Like you would not know that he is at the center of an internet controversy
The only
because
way you would know
he was
is that he was 40 minutes late getting to the van at the airport. That was the only thing. The rest of it, he was totally Derek.
totally unbothered. I'm telling you, just as engaged and over the top as everyone in that room. And no, but seriously,
over
like
the top.
no, Cameron, I think you and I were when you had said, kind of told me what has happened. I was like, dude, how cool is it though that Derek, like you weren't directing it at anyone. Like your intention, obviously, when you're making any kind of content, you want it to be engaging and people to have some sort of reaction, even even if it's just sort of internalized, right? But that just your insights were immediately the center point of a massive cultural conversation. I mean, that I think says a lot not only about your thoughtfulness, but also like the credibility that you have that people, cared enough in a way that I mean, there was like video after video of people, responding to it. Was that weird at all, Derek, or was it just? I mean,
Nah, it's been that way before. As far as I'm always kind of the guy that says that. That's why I made the pod. You can't say that in church because I'm kind of the guy that says the things that a lot of people are thinking, but I say them in such a way that usually get a reaction. Some of that's been being on this pod, listening to you, Jesse. You kind of trained me in your ways, bro. I'm not gonna.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I'm not gonna lie, but nah. I think the thing, and this is what. So I think where this kind of blew up was Caleb also was like, man, you guys that came before us didn't really do as much. Like, and I think what I was hearing from his heart was I needed mentorship. I didn't have that. And I'm doing this, I'm getting it out the mud. But I think he kind of went a little further with, saying, you guys been working at this for a long time and you haven't got any emotion.
Just say it. He called you a 50-year-old.
He called me I'm trying to be kind, but he called me a 50-year-old that hadn't done anything with my career. And then
he did.
There was also some kids that were in my comments that were like, "Oh, look at this guy. He's never done anything." So I actually made a commercial kind of addressing that because I had some guys who are pretty mean to me in my comments. So
okay.
And this is my
Didn't you respond to one of them saying, when you have 2 Grammys, get back to me or something like that?
Yeah, but I had to go the level of Cameron Strang petty on this one because
good.
There's a level
you've learned a lot from this podcast.
There's a level like playing, dominoes with Cameron and hanging out. I realized that there was a level of petty that I had not reached. That it's really, really important for me to reach that. And
when the mail gets involved, like when you're mailing things to somebody as a troll.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I can up my pettiness level. I don't have to. I don't.
There's layers to this. There's levels to
it. So I was like, you know what? Let me do this. I got it.
Good. And I appreciate that Domino's and Cameron's methodology at the table, because I experienced it at poker this weekend too. After he was trying to get in my head, he was like, he didn't have those aces. That's why he did. I'm like, darn it, Cameron, stop it.
Yes.
Just stop it. Let me enjoy this.
So without further ado, here's a commercial for everybody.
You never miss your kids' games. You've been married for 18 years. You even took 2 groups of people to the White House and spent your whole career pouring into young artists. Sure, there was Grammys, but deep down, something was missing. The doctor prescribed Clout. Clout is a once-daily creative supplement clinically proven to increase visibility, boost engagement, and put your name in people's mouths.
You don't need nothing else when you got Clout. You don't need nothing else when you got Clout. Clout is everything. Clout is everything.
Clout is not for everyone. Side effects may include unsolicited Zoom calls and being permanently misunderstood. Clout may cause dependency, and some users have experienced record-breaking streaming numbers followed by an emptiness they couldn't explain. Don't read your comment section while using Clout. If you experience a sudden loss of reality lasting more than 6 years, contact your publicist immediately. Ask your doctor if Clout is right for you.
You got clout.
First off, very impressed by the production value. And second off, I'm very glad you're taking the high road.
I'm shocked. That is the most amazing.
Is this in the wild yet, Derek? Did I
Yes.
miss? Okay,
It's on Instagram. It's on YouTube. Yeah.
I've never been more proud in my life of anyone. That is the most amazing thing. I'm a
I'm
dad.
glad.
And Derek, I've never been more proud of anybody than that moment.
I'm glad Derek has learned the value of de-escalation.
I cannot believe that you did that. That is amazing. Oh my gosh. And here I was talking about he's like mentoring people on calls all the time.
Some people, it's called tough love, and some people need to hear it.
Man,
And
look, it's all jokes to me.
because there's
Like,
truth.
when I say
There's
it's like,
truth.
listen, here's my thing. If I don't joke on you, we probably haven't been friends long enough. Like, so it's like once you cross that threshold with me where it's like, oh, it's jokes for life. Like that's how I am. Like I'm that kid. So.
And let's be honest, Caleb did start it by calling you an irrelevant 50-year-old. So, you know, like, I mean.
Now, Derek, it's going to take everything in me not to be distracted and look at your Instagram comments for the rest of the show. So just give me the wave tops.
Wild.
What has the overall reaction been since this has gone live?
Well, no, everybody's taking it in stride. It's fun. Nobody's really tripping because like I said, it's all jokes. It's all jokes.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the main thing was, you know, there was it wasn't even Caleb that prompted me to do this. It was a comment from a dude, and this dude like went in on me, like, bro, you've never done anything with your life. The specific thing was you got 2 Grammys, one because of Lecrae, and another one you've never got anything on your own. And it's like, okay, now we're moving the goalpost from, okay, just because I produced on someone's album and got a Grammy, that's not as good as getting a Grammy as an artist. Or like, you know, and it became one of those things where people were trying to try to diminish like what I do. And I just realized, I'm like, man, for me, I enjoy being with my kids. I enjoy being at every game. That is more important to me than chasing like clout on the internet for some internet troll. It had very little that commercial had less to do with Caleb and more to do with people's perspective on what an artist's life should be. Like an artist's life shouldn't be that I dedicate my whole life to the internet. It should be that you put out great art, you do what you can, people enjoy it, and you love your family. Like it's bigger than Caleb. Like to me, this started a moment for me to be able to address a bigger idea, which is let's stop chasing clout and let's start chasing family. You know what I'm saying? Like let's unify and also let's have public discussions. And it doesn't have to be diss tracks and stuff. Sometimes it could just be fun videos that, you know what I'm saying? Like that are that entertain people, make people's day a little bit better. So I feel like if I can make your day a little bit better, I did my job.
Agreed.
Congratulations, internet trolls. You got your clout.
It makes deep
crazy.
down for me to want other people to get mad at you publicly just so you can make funny content responses. I'm going to set up like catfish accounts where I like say mean things about Derek just so he'll make funny videos in response to it.
I had no idea that happened. I don't know what. When did you post that?
I think it was so fast because I literally did it the day after. I got home on Tuesday. We shot this on Tuesday and it was up on Wednesday. Like it was literally like we turned this thing around really fast. Yeah,
that's the 24-hour period where like I probably even said, where have you been? Because I just, once we got back, 24 hours a day, I was just catching up on everything. So I missed that. That was crazy. Good job. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Well, that's our Montana recap. We watched movies and Derek broke it Christian hip hop, and that was it. We came back to normal. All right. let's take a break here, and when we come back, we'll do slices.
Slices.
Okay, it's time for slices. What do you have, Jesse?
All right. Well, this is another story that was developing while we were gone, and it's taken over my fascination. And it is, have you guys seen the videos from around New York City of dozens of people in different boroughs sneaking into the sewer system?
No.
Okay,
I mean,
so
I knew that hipsters and artists and other people have done that over the years, but I didn't know it's like a new phenomenon.
yeah, so in the last couple of weeks, specifically on one night in multiple locations around the city on May 29th. There are surveillance videos of people, and they look like they know what they're doing. They're wearing waders, they have shovels and lights and things, descending into the sewers around New York City. I love the Washington.
What are they digging? What are they doing?
Well, okay, so I love the Washington Post's headline is "Mystery People Keep Emerging from NYC Manholes." Great headline, mystery people. And so no, here's the thing, Cameron, no one knows. The NYPD has put out a statement like they're trying to find these people. They don't think it's any sort of threat to public safety. But nobody knows who these people are and what they're doing or what they're looking for in the sewers. So Wired actually went to the urban exploration community, which is there's a whole kind of internet genre. You can go on Reddit and stuff of urban explorers, people who explore weird, kind of off limits places.
Oh, down here, it's a big deal with the theme parks. They like go into like decommissioned buildings and stuff like that. But sorry.
And this is a quote. So Wired asked these people, what could you tell us about this? Some of the OGs in the urban exploration community. I love this line. Nobody does sewers. He says it's such an old system, and people don't know a lot about it. That these people were way too sophisticated about it, that they likely weren't part of the urban exploration community. They also said sewers are pretty risky because there's basically no cell phone service down there. And so if you get in trouble, you're done. Or like if you got injured or something, well, there's no way out. Nobody knows what these people are doing down there. And I think it's awesome.
Wait, that's the story. There's no, and then they found out what they're doing. This is an
open mystery. And here's the thing: I was thinking about mysteries. This internet mysteries are my favorite. And I like. Do you remember a couple years ago? This is probably 2020, 2021. Those monoliths started showing up in national parks. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Still unsolved. Like they were
like in the Red Rocks and out in the Mojave Desert and all that kind of stuff. Just this big, as you said, monolith, like a mirrored rectangle, 12 feet tall, 6 feet tall, just there in the middle of nothing. Like
and these weren't on hiking paths. One of the first one was found when a helicopter was going to like look at like endangered sheep populations in like a hyper remote, almost off limits area, and they found this monolith kind of glimmering, still unsolved. I'm hoping the mystery people in the sewers get solved because it's a little unsettling, but we're right in the midst of great internet mystery here.
Wow.
Manhole mystery people emerging from manhole covers on a regular basis in New York. Nobody knows what's going on.
I don't remember what streamer it's on, but 3 or 4 or 5 months ago, I watched a documentary one weekend about in the early 90s in Philly or Cleveland or something. No. It was up in the banking capital that's in Gilmore Girls, up in the Northeast.
Greenwich,
Providence,
Rhode Island?
Providence, Rhode Island, or something like that.
Yeah.
There was a artist community that was living in abandoned warehouses. They had just kind of squatted and whatever. And it was in the cool area or dilapidated area of town that developers were coming in and buying up all these abandoned warehouses where all these artists were living. I mean, straight up a community was living there. And they built a huge mall, adjacent.
I watched that the other day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because the artists were getting displaced by these developers and this huge mega mall was under construction, they started scouring around, and one of them ended up finding this area that was kind of off the blueprints, and they were able to burrow in there and build a house inside the mall that nobody knew about or could get to. It was like behind a wall that had no door.
Cool.
It was very cool. Dude, they lived there for years. But then these people would go into the tunnels and they would do art installations down in the sewers. And like, they were an awesome community in the 90s. They were really cool. And they ended up doing some great work with children and the hospital. It was actually really inspiring. But they lived in the mall undetected for years. They had no. Anyway, I'm wondering if it's that. I'm wondering if it's. That's where my mind went when you're talking about like urban exploration. I'm wondering if it's like artists and cool hipsters who just are priced out of New York, and it's almost like as a statement.
They're living in the sewers.
They're setting up a community in the sewers.
Living in the sewers is crazy though. Like being a Ninja Turtle in 2026 is crazy.
That's true.
Like,
that's true.
Just popping out of a manhole to grab pizza.
But they were like,
pop back in.
They moved into that mall as almost like this anti-consumerism kind of statement that they were making and stuff. And I'm just wondering, maybe there's something like that. Like, you can't afford to live above ground in New York or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but living in like a forgotten, complex of rooms in a mall, right? Where they put couches and they had TV, they ran power there. Like people should watch that. I can't remember what the documentary is, but it's very.
I can't either. It's great though. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, I loved it. But there's no physical danger. You know what I mean? Like a security guard might find you one day and kick you out, but that's pretty much your only real risk. Which they in the film they mitigate that risk by going to extreme lengths, which was very cool as well. But but if you're living in the sewers, there's all kinds of dangers. Like it's filthy.
you're living in 100-year-old dookie water.
Yeah.
That has crusted over the walls. So it's just like, I mean, you just start there. I think you just start. I think if they don't die from, if you don't die from something bad happening, you die from just like
dysentery,
right? Yeah,
they're going to bring back the Black Plague from the 1800s because they're going to live in the conditions of the 1800s.
Get them out the sewer. Like, I'm kind of like, get them out.
Yeah, because I think you have to rule out like a living situation. I don't think it's livable,
No way.
And to that urban explorer's point, like once you go below street level, you have limited or no cell phone service, right? Where, it's one person was speculating like maybe they're looking for, maybe the shovels indicate they're looking for like lost like stuff like jewelry or stuff that may have like fallen and kind of gone. But I mean, even that's like.
Because people drop wedding rings through the grates all the time.
But cell phones. I mean, like you're gonna dig through sewage water, hoping to randomly come upon a piece of jewelry that fell off at some point.
Where's the metal detectors? They wouldn't have shovels; they'd have metal detectors.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Anyway, that is strange. Well,
I'll
keep us updated.
I will. Yeah. I'm following it very closely.
There may be four mutant turtles and a big rat that they found down there, and they wanted to find it, what's going on. So I don't know.
Yeah, I like it. All right, what do you have, Derek?
So guys, I have a confession to make, and the confession is that I often do not like to admit when I'm wrong with my wife. Like, me and my wife, we've been married 18 years, and sometimes it's just I'm wrong, but I stand my ground. Are y'all like that? Have y'all ever been that way just with friends, or it's like loud and wrong at times?
I'm divorced. Of course I was like that.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
almost daily, mainly about this sewer issue.
Right, just loud and wrong. So
I was telling her all my theories and why they're right. They're all completely wrong. Turns out after further investigation. Anyway, continue, Derek. They're not ninjas. Go ahead.
And then, I think about, the times we had and COVID and those times where police officers, there was a lot of controversy, and so much so that they created technology to wear body cams. I never thought I would get such joy out of a body cam footage than I have today. There's a police officer there's this lady that's driving, and the police officer pulls her over and tells her that she was looking at her cell phone in her right arm.
Her right hand. She was driving with her left, and he's like, I saw you on your phone with your right.
I saw you on your phone in your right hand. And she tells him, sir, I have no right hand. This is the body cam footage. And he's like, nah, don't, he's like, gets tougher. Like, nah, you're not going to be able to just you're gonna have to pay for that or whatever. And she says, sir, I have no right hand. And she lifts up her arm and there's just a nub there. And this guy continues to say he saw her with a phone in her right arm and there is no right arm there.
Makes no sense.
Bruh.
Like he tripled down.
He
You're not gonna tell me I didn't see.
She kept lifting her arm up saying,
Sir,
there is nothing here, sir.
I did not have a phone in my hand. Yeah. I have
Furthermore, it is not illegal to hold your phone in your hand. It's illegal to text. It is illegal to, which she was doing none of that. So,
because once again, she had no right hand. Now, let me ask this, Derek. What was, because I briefly saw, I didn't watch the encounter, but I saw like a tweet or something on Reddit about it. What was the ultimate resolution of this encounter?
He gave her a ticket. Like, he legit.
He did. She had to go to court to fight it.
She had to go to court to fight it. She only got dismissed based on the body cam footage, and it got dismissed because it's just like, bruh, you was wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? Honestly, Derek, I like that you started this with I can't admit when I'm wrong, because that was what I was thinking when I watched this first interaction. When he goes up to her, he was ticked. He's like, I pulled you over because I saw you texting with the phones in your right hand. She's like, no, I wasn't. And then she literally reveals, sir, I have no right hand. And he tripled down. Looking at the fact that she had no ability to do what he accused her of, he tripled down. I was just like, just call it a day. Just be like, my bad. It must have been another car that looked similar.
My bad. He picked the right one, because if you watch the video, she's the most sarcastic. Like, you couldn't have done this better. Like, she was like, sir.
Sir, tell me what I did with my right hand again. Like, it was wild.
Yeah,
and he tripled down and gave her a ticket.
He
like,
did.
What's wrong with you?
Extremely controversial take here. Okay. I know I'm going to get roasted and I don't care, but I feel like, this is what we do. All right. In the officer's defense, okay? I'm going to start
You already started off down by 50 at the half, bro.
Yeah, I know, because I'm not taking the side of the amputee who is being falsely accused by a law enforcement officer. Okay. So let me just state that from the gate. I told you it's a controversial take.
All right.
You're right now. You're for the Predator. You're
not for.
You're not for Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're going, well, the Predator was just living his life.
Okay. Here is. I'm not saying he's in the right, but I'm just saying, like, cell phones in some of these cases, like and I trust me, you don't want your algorithm to look like mine, okay? Because I started watching videos like this, and now I get them all the time, and like it would make me enraged. Like I would become one of those police officers that cannot admit when I'm wrong. Because have you guys ever gone down like the sovereign citizen rabbit holes? There is a corner of the internet. There are content creators on the internet who try to get who try to get in confrontations with police officers, and they will just propose like preposterous legal theories, but about why just the concept of law enforcement is illegal. But it's not just like, hey, this officer's out of line. They are looking for confrontations and just annoying the heck out of police. And most of the time, police officers like that get in these. They're not like trying to shut down. They're just like, look, man, I'm just doing the job.
I'm just trying to do my job, dog.
and like, but if you had encounters with those people, like at some point something snaps and you're like, I'm not going to admit I'm wrong. I'm not going to be in one of these situations. So I'm not saying he's in the right, but I'm saying if some of those sovereigns, some of those
had no right hand.
I'm saying she's in the right. I'm just saying if I'm putting myself, if I've been on the receiving end of sovereign citizen content creators who are bothering me while I'm just trying to do my job, because some of these people are insufferable. They're hilarious. Objectively hilarious. That's why I watched the videos.
This might have been a today is the day. I'm not. You're not getting away.
Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's over. I don't care. I'm doubling down no matter what. I've had internet nerds pick on me.
This ain't it, bro. This wasn't the one.
No.
This wasn't
I'm
the
saying
one.
he was wrong.
This,
I'm saying
this
he's
wasn't
wrong.
the one.
I'm clearly saying he's in the wrong. But what
For
I'm
sure.
saying is,
Can you imagine though the 1,000,000 to 1 chance that he pulls over? Because he's probably literally just randomly pulling over cars and issuing these, tickets to hit his what is it,
Quota or
ratio or
whatever. Yeah.
quota?
Yeah.
Yeah, quota is the word I was looking for. Because how are you going to prove you weren't on your phone? You know what I mean? It's like you're not going to go to court to dispute it. And he's just writing tickets left and right all day. And then all of a sudden he just walks into one that he couldn't walk out of. Oh, I love it.
But
I love it.
it's the triple down though.
Yeah,
That's what it was. It was a triple down. Like had he pulled her over and she said, "Sir,
Not possible.
oh, you know what, ma'am? I am extremely sorry. I
Must have been something else.
apologize.
Must have been a glare.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead. I'm
Okay.
sorry for inconveniencing you or your day.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I apologize. No, it was the argument. Like it's like, bro, you lost.
Yeah.
No, it's over with.
Okay, but you
Game,
don't know.
set, match.
You don't know that the day prior that he pulled someone over because they had like a broken tail light or something, and that person, when he approached the window, cracked it like less than an inch. Didn't make eye contact and just held up the U.S. Constitution while laughing at him. You know what I mean? And he's like, "You got a tail light out, bro. I'm trying to help you out here." Like, you don't know he wasn't one of those at the day before that just sent him over the edge.
Jesse,
Again, I'm not saying he's in the right.
I don't care. And even if like he had 99 times that was the situation, on this one, you just got to like
he's in the
take
wrong.
your loss.
He's
you
clearly
gotta chalk it up. This one of the
listen.
ones you gotta charge it to the game.
Listen,
you gotta chalk it up.
my whole point is this: he was clearly wrong, and sovereign citizens are hilarious.
Don't make the mistake of watching one of those videos on TikTok because that's all you'll see for the next week and a half.
There's a reason because you can't stop watching them. You're like, I gotta see how this one goes down. They are great. Yeah.
I mean, 2 a.m, laying in bed, scrolling and getting into those like part 4 of like arrest videos, car pullover videos.
It's crazy, bro.
It's
I'm
pretty
not
crazy.
gonna lie.
Great.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
We'll
lie.
send some over.
Please.
We'll improve your algorithm.
No,
all right.
Keep it to yourself like that over the top movie.
That's what we're doing next time. I'm making a sovereign citizen video playlist and we're watching that.
All right. That'll do it for Slices. Stay tuned. Up next, Philip Anthony Mitchell joins us. Well, Emily is out today, but before she left, she sat down with 2819 Church pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell. 2819 Church is in Atlanta, and over the last 3 years, it's absolutely exploded. His sermons have been clipped and shared all over the internet, so chances are you've seen a lot of his preaching in your feed, and it's amazing. He's one of the boldest, thoughtful, deep. I'm a huge fan. Well, he sat down with Emily to share more about the church's origin and mission, to talk about their brand new worship album, and why he feels like this is a time to really lean into the urgency of the gospel. Here's our conversation with Philip Anthony Mitchell.
I'd actually really like to go back to the start. What was happening in the city that led you to start this church, Philip?
My wife and I, we came here in 2010 after finishing Bible college in Columbus, Ohio. We arrived here with nothing, really, no jobs, no friends, no connections, no church family. 2 years after we arrived, my wife and I and 10 other believers, we set out to start what was Victory Church at the time. It was a church plant from scratch that I led for about 10 years. Right around the 8-year mark, God began to speak to me about changing the name of our ministry. This was also around the time of COVID, when everything had shut down for about 18 months. During that time, we lost our members, we lost staff, we lost momentum, I lost hope. But it was around that time God was doing something new in me. It was around that time the seed of 2019 was being formed in me. And my wife and I had a conversation about this. She had felt that God has given her a word that it was time to change the name of the ministry. We both got the same word on the same morning and did not know. And so when Victory Church was 10 years old, at that 10-year mark, we decided to bury Victory Church since we had lost everything anyway. And 6 months out of COVID, by the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, we changed the name to 2819. I did not come up with that name. We had a consultant who was in a staff meeting with us at the time, and we were kind of looking at different names for the ministry. It had like 30 names on the board. And the consultant said, if you would allow me, I would like to interject. And he kind of pushed away from the table. And he said, listen, man, when I listen to you preach and when I hear the spirit and the heart of what you're trying to do, I feel like I have a name that fits. Since you guys are so passionate about the spread of the gospel and multiplying disciples, why don't you just name the church 2819? And at first I thought that was the dumbest thing I ever heard. No one names a church after a number. And I said, this is stupid. And we wrote the name on the board, and it was about maybe 20 of us in that room. And something shifted in that room. And we had a 3-hour talk around the name and the ethos and how the name can unify a body of people around the Great Commission. Essentially, 2019 was born out of Matthew 2019, the Great Commission. And so we felt that that's what God wanted us to do. And in January of 23, we changed the name and launched 2019 with 183 disciples. And I made a vow to God when we launched 2019 that I would just be faithful to whatever he placed in front of me. Yeah. And I would be faithful to follow the Holy Spirit. Yeah. Every agenda I had was gone. My personal will was gone. The vanity that was in my heart was gone. Every desire I had to have a large ministry, be known, be famous, all these things that was in my heart before, they were gone. I had wrung these things out my heart over a period of about 4 years, coming back from Israel in 2018. Yeah. And so by the time 2819 is born in January 23, I'm a new man. An old man had died. And my only desire was to just make Jesus known to whomever he placed in front of me until he called me home. And that was it. And what has happened in the last 3 years since then is all credited to God and to the Holy Spirit. Inside of our church, inside of our staff culture, we have this saying, we plan like everything depends on us, but we pray like everything depends on God. And we really are a people that is striving. And when I say striving, Emily, we are not perfect. And we have made mistakes. But on this side of the camera, in full transparency, in terms of our staff, we are striving to be a people of holiness. We strive for purity. Yeah. We strive for unity. We are serious about the scriptures. We are serious about prayer. Yeah. And we are serious about being led by the Holy Spirit. Yeah. And so everything we believe that has happened in 2019 over the last 3 years is all God. It's all his sovereignty. He gets the credit for that alone. We see ourselves as stewards and not as owners. And we're doing our best to just be faithful to steward what we believe is a movement that God is engineering for himself and for his glory. And we just want to be faithful to steward that movement.
Tell me a little bit more about that movement. Like, what do you see God doing in this generation right now?
We have 3 pillars in our church. They're all P's: prayer, presence, and proclamation. And we feel that what God is engineering right now through 2019 is a movement to bring those 3 pillars to the world, to call the bride of Christ back to prayer, to call the bride of Christ back to authenticity in worship, and to proclaim God's word unfiltered by all the things that has come to dilute God's word. Yeah. Because we feel that time is running out, we feel that God is using our house to kind of rally the bride, to prepare her of sorts for his coming. And I don't see how revival happens without prayer. I don't see how revival happens without pure worship. And I don't see how revival happens without gospel preaching. And so we believe that these 3 pillars that God has given us is a type of secret sauce of sorts. It is at the heartbeat of who we are. And I think it is what God is using to stir up the body of Christ. I think that there is a generation right now that is emerging, that is being led astray into counterfeit gospels. And there is a Christianity in the West that is emerging that is disconnected from Orthodox Christianity. And it burdens us. We cry, we weep about it. And we just want to be used by God to prepare the bride for his coming and to lead her back to his feet. Yes. To lead her back to the scriptures, to lead her back to prayer, to lead her back to authentic Christianity. It is countercultural. We do take heat for that. But we are serious about what we're doing. We see that because time is running out, we don't want to waste our time, and we want to be serious about what God has called us to do. And we're trying to do everything we can to awaken the bride, both in the West and around the world, and to sound an alarm. That time is running out, and to bring her back to the foot of the cross, to bring her back to the Great Commission, to remind her that she is called to be a witness in this hour, to set aside all of our differences around color and ethnicity and all these things, but to be united around the last commandments of Christ, that his last commandments will be our first priorities, to spread this gospel to the end of the earth, to multiply disciples, and to be his witnesses in every sphere of influence, from the single mom at home to the businessman in the Fortune 500 company to the athlete on the field. We want to awaken the bride of Christ and set a fire up on her as far as God will push out that message.
Yeah. Like the authenticity that you were talking about, like it's very evident in everything I've seen from your church. What is it about that authenticity that is pulling people in rather than pushing them away? Have you figured out like why people are connecting with that?
We haven't. We haven't. We don't really have that answer, and we just believe, Trey and I and our whole staff, that it is sovereign. We do believe it's something that God is doing. On our end, Emily, to be honest, and I hate to sound like a broken record, I really wish you could put a camera on us during the week. We pray.
Yeah.
We wring out our heart from sin. We are striving for holiness and purity, and we just want to be faithful. And we're trying to just do our part to show God that we can be trusted. In terms of the attention around our ministry or why people are being drawn, we don't really have an answer for that. Our answer is it is sovereign. It is something that the Lord Jesus is doing for himself. He is the one that's drawing people to these gatherings, drawing people to our feeds, drawing people to our YouTube. He's doing all of the drawing. To be honest, we try to stay away from that in terms of taking any credit. We would dishonor the Lord if we tried to put an answer to why people are being drawn. It is sovereign, and we are just doing our best to steward what he's doing. But in terms of an answer of something we have done on the ground, we don't have an answer for that. We do believe it is divine, and we're just trying to be good stewards of what the Lord is doing.
Yeah.
That was Philip Anthony Mitchell. Go check out more of that conversation at relevantmagazine.com and check out 2819 Church's new worship album on Reach Records. Also, follow him and great content. It'll uplift your spirit. All right. Stay tuned. Up next, it's your feedback. Okay, it's time for your feedback. So last week, we asked you guys, what's a hill you're willing to die on that most people will think is ridiculous? This was obviously inspired by Jesse. You guys replied on YouTube in the comments. You guys replied to our stories on Instagram and on Facebook and all the places we posted this. Some great feedback. Here are a few of our favorites.
This one, chicken fingers, chicken strips, and chicken tenders are not the same thing.
Hey, give credit to who wrote in. Who
this
said
is
that?
Sid Cascio.
Sid Cascio.
Yeah, Sid Cascio.
Who knows where they came from? These are all real, by the way. We have not seeded any of these. So
I don't know the difference between them. Maybe if you laid out three plates.
Chicken fingers, chicken strips, and chicken tenders are not the same thing. That's his hill that he's willing to die on.
Yeah, but if you had 3 plates with those on them, I may be able to categorize them, but I have no idea what the differentiation is.
Chicken fingers. Hold on. Chicken tenders are bulkier. The
chicken tenders are the chicken tenders are the tenderloin.
He's wrong. He's dead wrong. Nobody knows. Nobody. He just made this up.
Chicken nuggets, yes, totally different category. But chicken fingers, strips, and tenders are all the same shape. They're all more of the tenderloin or the breast meat.
Agree.
They're not.
He's dead wrong. He's dead wrong. This is a hill that he should gladly just abandon.
Don't die on it. Yeah.
Yep.
George Dela Cruz says eating a cinnamon sugar pretzel with nacho cheese. And sir, I just want you to. Your guts are probably crazy.
So this is an Auntie N's thing, right? Like the mall pretzel place.
I guess.
I never had that before. Cohen loves it. He's a teenager. They hang out at
Yeah.
the malls. So we were near an Auntie Anne's. We were at Universal, and he was like, "Oh, let's get some pretzel snacks." I was like,
Yeah.
"I've never had it. Let's try it out." And they have all these like sugar pretzels, all these savory pretzels, and they have all these dipping sauces. This is where this dude is doing this. He orders a cinnamon sugar pretzel, and then he gets the nacho cheese dipping sauce.
It's a bold move. I don't agree with
crazy.
it. I don't agree with it, but having not tried it and having not going to try it, I can't say I disagree with him. I have no
That's
evidence
crazy.
of the contrary. There's a lot of food ones, by the way. Most people's opinions are relegated to the world of unhealthy food.
I don't know,
Yes.
but Ben Stroop says his hill that he's willing to die on. He says people shouldn't say "we" about their favorite sports teams. He says you didn't do anything. Fully disagree.
For me too.
Ben, you're wrong.
That is a joyless life you lead, Ben, if that's how you think about sports.
Hey, the Orlando Magic is a we. I am an investor in the team. I invest in those seats. I'm in.
That's us.
Hey,
Now,
I'm
I will
paying
say
their
this:
salaries.
if I had courtside tickets and
It's a we.
my team went to the NBA, it's we.
It's
It's
not
a
even.
we.
But here's the thing.
Them joints are expensive. We did this. Like,
It's not even.
I paid
but
for
it's not,
some of this.
I know, but beyond the financial relationship teams have with their fans, who
Right.
are responsible for the profits that are shared with the players, the emotional weight. I think sometimes fans care more than the players.
Way more.
Yeah.
These players are employees who will move from job to job many times. Like they are in a city for a year.
True.
I'm doing what I do. I'm more thinking about my next contract and making sure that I'm ascending in my career ladder more than I care about this franchise. That is the truth. Those people are living and dying. I mean, the fans are living and dying by what happens on that court.
They have a disproportionate, borderline unhealthy relationship with the ability of 20-somethings to put a ball through a hoop. It is true.
Also, Ben says you didn't do anything. I cannot tell you how many big games the coaches and players in the post-game press conferences and interviews said how much of an impact the crowd made. Like
I
we
know for
won.
the fact.
So don't tell me I didn't do anything.
Listen, I know for the fact when I sat in that corner of the couch with the jersey on, they did good.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You sit in
do
the other
math.
corner, they didn't do good.
They
I
go
did
down
my
all of a
part.
sudden. So let me
I'm
say
going
this:
back.
you do the math.
You do the math.
Exactly.
I'm with
Ben. Okay, there's a lot more where that came from. I'm sorry, but there's literally so many more. But we got to wrap it. We have a hard out today. So let me ask the next question of the week. We'll post this.
Editorial question of the week. Hey.
It's another contrast one. What's something everyone seems to love that you genuinely just don't get? We love 80s action movies now, 90s action movies.
Yeah.
What's something everybody seems to love that you just genuinely don't get? Comment on YouTube and hit us up on all of our stories. We'll read our favorites on next week's show. We'll read more than 3, we promise. We'll be better. We'll have better time management next week. All right. On that note, we'll wrap it. Many thanks to Philip Anthony Mitchell for joining us. Make sure to check out them online. Make sure to follow, check out their new worship album. And many thanks to all the trolls that made Derek do that awesome clout commercial, because we like it that you push him to be hilarious. Good job, guys. On that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Derek Miner.
We'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See ya.
Later, brother.